Long before John Travolta became a symbol of Hollywood magic. Long before audiences knew him as the electrifying Tony Manero spinning under disco lights or the unforgettable Danny Zuko singing his way into pop culture history, he was just a quiet boy from Englewood, New Jersey, trying to be seen in a house overflowing with noise. Born on February 18, 1954, the youngest of 6 children, John grew up in a home where dreams were big but resources painfully small. Space was cramped, money was tight, and the clatter of survival filled every corner. His father, Salvatore Travolta, once an aspiring football player, worked long days repairing tires, his hands stained with grease and exhaustion. His mother, Helen, a woman who once dreamed of the stage herself, poured her passion into her children, teaching drama and English with a tenderness that masked her disappointment. She hoped one of her children might live the dream she had been forced to surrender. Life in the Travolta household was messy. Arguments over bills, dinners stretched thin, shared bedrooms where privacy was a luxury. John slept next to 2 brothers in a room where the ceiling leaked and the paint peeled. But amid the chaos, something powerful formed inside him. He learned early that attention wasn't given, it was earned. So he danced, sang, rehearsed, and mimicked characters his mother loved. Every laugh he pulled from his family felt like a small victory. By 16, John felt the walls closing in. He wanted more than survival, he wanted purpose. In 1970, he made a choice few teenagers could even imagine. He dropped out of high school to chase a future only he seemed able to see. With just $150 saved from odd jobs, a weather-worn suitcase, and an acting handbook tucked under his arm, he left home. His childhood house faded behind him as he boarded a bus toward New York, carrying nothing but determination and a hunger that had taken root years earlier. New York did not open its arms. Tested him. Auditions led to rejections, sometimes before he even finished introducing himself. Meals were cheap hot dogs, watered-down coffee, and skipped lunches. Nights were spent on borrowed couches, backstage corners, and stairwells warmed only by humming radiators. But the struggle carved him into someone stronger than he'd ever expected. Every no became fuel. Every lonely night became grit. And then, as if destiny had been waiting for the right moment, opportunity whispered his name. But John had no idea that the first door opening for him would lead to a journey far more brutal, brilliant, and heartbreaking than anything he had ever imagined. After months of struggling in New York City, surviving on cheap meals, sleeping in hallways, and clutching onto a dream thinner than the soles of his worn-out shoes, John's breakthrough arrived in the most unexpected way. One humid afternoon in 1971, while folding clothes in a laundromat, he overheard 2 performers whispering about auditions for a touring production of Grease. He had never seen the show, but desperation sharpened his courage. He told them he knew the material, walked into the audition room with fire in his eyes, and gave everything he had. The director wasn't just impressed, he was astonished. John wasn't polished, but he was undeniable. Landing the role changed his life. For nearly a year, he traveled from city to city performing the same songs and dances night after night. The pay wasn't glamorous, but the applause was real, and for the first time in his life, the world seemed to whisper back, "You belong here." That validation kept him going through long bus rides, cramped hotel rooms, and the quiet moments when loneliness tried to creep back in. But one show wouldn't open Hollywood's gates. Determined to climb higher, John packed his belongings into an old car and drove to California. He arrived with hope, a few $100s and no guarantees. Hollywood was colder than New York. Week after week, he faced rejection. His first roles were small: an unconscious patient in one medical drama, a brief appearance in another show. Barely seconds on screen, but each moment kept the dream alive. Then came the audition that changed everything. A sitcom pilot called Welcome Back, Kotter. He arrived late, dressed completely wrong for the part. Yet when the camera rolled, the room shifted. He delivered his lines with a swagger that felt alive, real, raw, and unforgettable. And just like that, Vinnie Barbarino was born. The show exploded. Within weeks, fan mail poured in by the thousands. His catchphrases appeared on lunchboxes, shirts, and posters plastered on bedroom walls. People didn't just watch him, they adored him. John, who once begged casting directors just to be seen, now had the world chanting his name. But fame can be a double-edged sword. As his popularity skyrocketed, Hollywood placed him in a box. Directors saw the charming teen idol but ignored the actor capable of depth and vulnerability. He could feel the cage closing even as the applause grew louder. Still, he refused to settle. He studied voices, movements, and people on the streets. He pushed himself toward roles that demanded truth, not just charisma. And soon, the role that would define a generation came knocking. Yet John didn't know that becoming a global sensation would cost him more than fame could ever repay. The year 1977 marked the moment John Travolta transformed from a rising actor into a cultural phenomenon. When he stepped onto the set of Saturday Night Fever, he wasn't just performing, he was pouring years of hunger, frustration, and ambition into every movement. His rehearsals stretched for hours, leaving him exhausted, trembling, and drenched in sweat. There were nights when he collapsed backstage, unsure if he could continue. Yet when the cameras began rolling, something extraordinary happened. The boy who once slept on borrowed couches became the face of a generation. His performance didn't just draw applause, it rewrote Hollywood's expectations. At only 23, he earned an Oscar nomination, a milestone that felt like the universe acknowledging every sacrifice he had made. Just as he was catching his breath, Grease hit theaters a year later, and the world erupted. Danny Zuko wasn't merely a character. He became a symbol of youth, music, and rebellion. Posters filled bedrooms, magazines hailed him as the king of cool, and his voice echoed in jukeboxes from America to Europe. But behind the glamorous premieres and screaming fans, an invisible pressure quietly settled on his shoulders. Stardom had lifted him to the skies, but it also chained him there. People adored the superstar, not the human being. Producers wanted the swagger, the smirk, the hair, the charm. The deeper artist inside him struggled for space to breathe. And when he finally tried to break free from the typecasting, Hollywood pushed back hard. Some of his early 80s films stumbled with critics, and the once unstoppable momentum began to wobble. The same industry that had lifted him up started whispering doubts. Was his time already over? Yet acting challenges were nothing compared to what fate had planned next. During the filming of The Boy in the Plastic Bubble, John met actress Diana Hyland, a woman whose warmth and intelligence captivated him instantly. Their connection was effortless. She became a refuge, a place where he felt understood, supported, and genuinely loved. They were planning a future together, speaking softly about marriage and all the possibilities waiting ahead. But Diana was quietly battling breast cancer, a truth she initially tried to shield from him. When John discovered her condition, he refused to leave her side. He held her through pain, made her laugh during long treatments, and whispered promises into the stillness of hospital nights. Then, cruelly, far too soon, she was gone. John held her in his arms as she took her final breath. He was 23. She was 41. The world celebrated his stardom, but behind closed doors, he was grieving the first great love of his life. And the heartbreak didn't end there, because fate wasn't finished. Just as John struggled to rise from this devastating loss, another blow was already waiting, one that would cut even deeper. Losing Diana Hyland nearly broke him, but John Travolta forced himself forward, believing time might soften the wound. Just as the world embraced him as a superstar, fate struck again, this time targeting the woman who had first put scripts in his hands. His mother, Helen, the quiet force who ignited his passion for acting, had been silently fighting breast cancer. She hid her illness to keep from burdening her rising son, wanting him to shine without shadows weighing him down. When John discovered the truth, he was shattered. Fame suddenly felt hollow in the face of her weakening body. Between premieres and public appearances, he would rush back to New Jersey to sit beside her bed, reading scenes as though they were still in her classroom, where she once encouraged every spark of his creativity. While the world lost itself in the joy of Grease, John's personal world was collapsing. His mother passed away in 1978, just 1 year after Diana. Two women who shaped his soul, both taken by the same merciless illness within 20 months. The grief carved itself deep into him. Even success couldn't drown out the echo of these losses. Yet in the midst of heartbreak, life offered him something unexpected, a love that felt like a second chance. In 1987, he met Kelly Preston while filming The Experts. Their chemistry was instant, but timing was complicated. It took a few years for their paths to fully align, but when they did, it was undeniable. Kelly brought a warmth into John's life that he hadn't felt in decades. She understood his wounds without needing them explained. In 1991, under the glittering night sky of Gstaad, Switzerland, John proposed as fireworks burst behind them. Kelly said yes, tears sparkling like the snow around them. Their wedding in Paris felt like a fairy tale reshaping itself after years of pain. Not long after, their lives changed forever. They became parents. Their son Jet was born in 1992, filling their home with laughter and childish wonder. John would rock him to sleep, whispering stories and promises into the quiet of night. 8 years later came their daughter, Ella, whose kindness and creativity became a reflection of both parents. The Travolta household, once marked by sorrow, blossomed again with music, family dinners, and the joy of simple moments. But destiny seemed unable to leave John in peace for long. Jet, their beloved firstborn, began experiencing health complications at a young age. Though they protected him fiercely and loved him unconditionally, an unspoken fear lived inside the family. And in 2009, during what was meant to be a peaceful family vacation, that fear became reality, and the Travolta family would face a tragedy so profound it would forever reshape their lives. What happened next would tear their world apart and test John's spirit in a way no fame, fortune, or strength could ever prepare him for.